TNT, bang up to date.
TNT made this exclusive film of the fountain being made in 1992.
The designers took advantage of a natural 4.5 metre slope from the council house to New Street to construct one of the largest fountains in any city centre in Europe. Early excavations centred around the construction of an underground network of pipes to carry the water from the lower to the upper pool, and the basic shape of the two pools was soon visible. The largest pool at the top is 27 metres long, and 3,000 gallons of water per minute would eventually flow through a fountain into the 10 metre wide lower pool. The concrete base was fitted out with 400 metres of fibre optics to light the outline of the fountain's pools. The sculpture, officially called the River, was cast in London.
This is A&A Sculptures in London, where the casts are being made.
Initially, the artist's work was made into this small plaster cast model. This was used as a template for the final full-size version of the goddess, which was later to become officially known as the River, but more commonly known as the Floozie in the Jacuzzi. The dots were drawn to help reproduce the full-scale version to the correct size. Polystyrene was carved and a skin of plaster and grog was modelled to the correct shape. This was then cut up into 35 sections which faced the furnace. But first, each individual section had hot wax poured into it to take in the detail of the surface of the model. It was into this printed wax skin that the bronze was tipped and solidly packed into a sand pit, which held the sections firmly in position. The model was fired in a kiln for 3 days at a temperature of 1200 degrees Celsius. After being cooled, the non-rusting bronze sections were welded together to produce the end result, which became the centrepiece of the square.
The Guardians are a pair of monumental 3 metre high, 5 metre long sandstone creatures which are imaginary beings. They were delivered from the firm in Cambridge, where they were sculptured into the basic shape. Each Guardian weighs up to 30 tonnes and is made of a Darley-Dale sandstone, the same stone as was used on the council house over 100 years ago. One male and one female Guardian were laid on either side of the fountain. This was a scene in November 1992 when the Guardians first faced the public of Birmingham. A small-scale model was used by the artist to measure the correct size of the mythical wings and features. These were then drawn onto the stone and chiselled to create the desired effect. This chip off the old block created a tremendous feat of sculpturing.
It's the 15th of December and the male Guardian is being unveiled to the press.
Artist Struve Mystery was introduced with senior city planners and council officials as the new symbols of civic pride, representing agility, power, strength and reason looked on.
Queen Victoria had a memorable and moving experience when she was returned to her home in May 1993 after being taken away for renovation at the start of this improvement scheme. Victoria first stood here in 1901 when she was cast in marble. Over the years, air pollution damaged her and she was recast in bronze in 1951. This was the first time she had been completely cleaned since then. Crowds gathered to witness the return of the statue, which gave the square its name. In 1901, it was said that Victoria should stand in its present position for all time, and that promise was kept by the present-day planners. The restoration programme was undertaken by Naylor Conservation in Telford, and these exclusive pictures show the work in progress. A soft wire brush was used to remove most of the grime from 40 years of fumes and pigeons, and the intricate patterns of Victoria's cloak showing the emblems of the home countries were again clearly visible and appreciated by all of us that saw the work being carried out. After the statue had been brushed down, it was waxed all over to protect the bronze surface from corrosion, and then she was ready to return to her square, which had altered dramatically during her absence. The earth around the base of Victoria Square, which once formed an island garden, was removed, and it became part of the piazza, which stretches the whole width of the square. In all, 250,000 bricks were laid. Apparently, these would stretch for 30 miles if laid end to end. Different colours helped to make the area more attractive. Near to Victoria's plinth, there is a special stone bearing the name of Ebony and her paw mark. The 5-year-old Labrador dog, owned by a stonemason, guarded the site for over 8 months, and people can pause to look at her paw mark.
So here we are at Victoria Square. It says Victoria Square opened by HRH, the Princess of Wales, 6th of May 1993. And this is the film of what happened on that day.
The Princess of Wales is driven directly into the centre of the new-look Birmingham, a centre which is now without doubt one of the finest in Europe. The Princess is greeted by the Lord Mayor of Birmingham, Councillor Peter Barwell, who escorts her to meet Councillor Sir Richard Knowles, the leader of the City Council. She now walks along the line of officials to the podium and switches on the fountain and waits anxiously for the pumps to begin to work.
The princess looks to the river and anticipates what will happen. And there, the fountain is officially open as the water flows to the youth of the city. The crowning glory of Victoria Square has received a royal blessing. The princess receives a bouquet of flowers from 10-year-old Victoria Burnett. She then walks to unveil the official plaque which will go on the wall of the council house.
Please shake your hand, please. Put your hand out. Put your hand out now.
So, as the princess prepares to leave the crowds in the traffic-free square, it's worth remembering that this was an area polluted by traffic fumes and noise just 2 years ago. The scheme to give the streets back to the people in this part of the city is complete. So as the Princess of Wales leaves the square and the crowds disperse, Victoria Square is now officially open to the people of Birmingham.
Bang up to date.